the Pit. Before we get started, you know the drill. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate your support. All right, let's head on over to the West Coast. I got a band out there that started as a project band in 2019. They completed their unit in 2023. Their name is Telomyras, and they're my next featured guest today on King of the Pit, baby. Let's go, baby.
Okay, hello. We are Telomyras, at least part of it. I'm Sammy. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jack. I'm Gavin.
There you go. There you go. All right. And maybe let's say what we do in Telomyras. I'm the singer. Hello.
I'm one of the guitar players.
And I'm the drummer.
Woo. All right. So, how long have we been together?
Well, I can start since I was there with Ephraim. So he set out advertisements, I think late 2019 going into 2020. And that's when we linked up. And then, of course, COVID happened. And while the beginning of that was happening, Ephraim and I were starting to write songs for our earliest material. And then flash forward a couple years, Sammy joins the band, Gavin joins the band after that. And then as this unit, and I think starting in 2023, right, we really started gearing up and writing and rehearsing for Duskfall, what would eventually become Duskfall. So it's about, 6 years, 5 years as a band, and 3 years in the making of the full length.
Yeah, I think I joined, was it like very early 2022, I think?
Yeah, it was like January, February, somewhere around then.
Yes. Yeah.
It was really fast because we wanted to keep playing shows and we wanted you on the show. Right. So yeah, that was probably that was a lot of adjustment at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Gavin, when did you join?
I think it was, February of 23 that I auditioned for you guys.
And then I think like a month or two later after that, right? It was by the summer you were rehearsed and ready to go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. What makes our band unique or different in the metal scene? Who wants to start?
You can start, Gavin. Go ahead. What your point of view on it?
I think it all comes down to the vocals. I think it's the combination. No, I'm serious. It's the combination of the insanely operatic aspect of your singing, Sammy, and then also the hybridization with gutturals. I mean, if you were to slap anything else on that, we'd probably sound like a lot of other bands.
True. I think there's more to it though. I think we have quite a few different feats in different subgenres. So I think to me that's a big part of it as well. Like you don't see as many bands doing classic and like we're moving in the death metal direction. So to me that's kind of what I see. And yeah, of course, like token female singer, but like I also don't but stylistically, yes, I think I'm a little bit interesting in that as well, a little bit different. Jack, what do you think?
Well, I think that the band, I think you guys said a good job where it represents a couple of different genres of metal without really fully going into one. I guess we would mostly stay in like the traditional metal realm with just like the way the songs are structured right now on Duskfall. But yeah, the singing is definitely not something that is super common. Because usually it's not trained singers that are designed to keep things on pitch, or like there might be some other types of things. I like all sorts of different types of bands though, so you don't need to have a trained singer in a band, but I do think that it makes it sound special.
100%. No, that is something, at least for me, being trained in a different modality, it really is a different modality to me. So I really think that might have hindered me. It makes it a lot harder. And yeah, I have technical knowledge and experience, but it's very different singing opera versus metal. And so, you guys know, like using equipment is a mind fuck for me oftentimes. Like I went years and years and years without using equipment. So that has been a huge adjustment too. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you need training to be a good singer. Like just be
a lot of it is just about how you say something, and that's something that you developed from the early material that you were writing to the most recent stuff that you were writing. Because even on Duskfall, there's songs that you wrote the vocal lines to like a couple of years ago versus more recently, and they're they're kind of evolved.
Yeah.
Which makes somewhat of a varied listening experience, I think, from the vocal approach on Duskfall.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's cool that you brought that up. I've never actually thought about how different the vocal lines I have written are in Duskfall versus like the EP. So that's, yeah, I think you're right.
And Attrition, or not Attrition, The Altar were the two earliest ones
Yes.
that you wrote.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next one. What's the scene like in our area? What's the metal scene like in our area? What are the pros and cons?
Well, Gavin, you're the Washingtonian here.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's incredibly diverse. There's a lot of grunge influences, of course, a lot of like stoner rock and doom, kind of, you know, is an embodiment of the weather in Seattle, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, to some extent that bleeds into a lot of the bands that I've been around, at least in the local scene, the bands that I've seen opening for, you know, the touring acts coming through growing up and going to shows at, you know, El Corazon or other venues.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah, I think that it's a pretty good mix of different types of bands. I think the only thing that I can even think of because the question says, what are the pros and cons? That are cons is that maybe just population density isn't as high as, say, something like Los Angeles or like the Texas bands or in like New York. Those are like very high population areas, but we have enough to have a good mix of bands, but there always could be more, you know?
Yeah. I would say, and I don't know if it's unique to Seattle, but I would say it's very supportive. Everyone is really nice. Everyone's helping each other where they can. That has been something that I didn't expect in the metal community, but I also wasn't in the metal community before being in this band. I was just kind of a loner listening to metal at home. So that is interesting to me. I think it's been really supportive. We have buddies in other bands that help us whenever they can. And I think that's how it is with all the bands out here. Like everyone helps everyone, which is very cool. Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about Duskfall. Tell us about your new upcoming music.
Yeah, we got the full length album, partially self-produced. It was a mixture of working on our own and working with Brad from Bradzilla to doing the drum recording and the engineering of the album. The album itself, I think, is a really good, solid representation of everything that we work towards in Telomyras, trying to go for an aggressive, clean production. Well, not clean like it's super squeaky clean, but we want the edge, but also I think a little bit more of a clear production than what was previously recorded for the debut EP.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Duskfall really, it's been really interesting as someone who's never been in a band before, the past however many years, that seeing the difference between the EP and now, and how all of us have really put in our own influence into this versus the EP. Very different, in my opinion. And also,
that was almost like a snapshot in time, I think, of
yes.
it. Because the Duskfall, we collectively worked on it for a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more of a lot of pieces that are put together with intentionality. Where the EP, the debut, was a lot like, this is what we are right now. Let's see how we do in 2 weekends of us just recording on the fly, which is cool, but I don't think it would have sounded the same.
Yeah.
If we tried to do that with this. I mean, we tried to do the guitars at your house and it wasn't working. The engineer setup was just like, there's no way we're going to be able to keep everything sounding
how we want. Yeah.
How we want. So that's why we ended up doing the guitars, the bass, and the vocals at home. and then layered onto the drums that were already set up. And I think that comes through a lot, is that you can tell the drums are really locking in the whole track, because really we were listening to Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
That was the North Star for all the songs, so you can really hear how the drums take charge in a way that was not, I felt like, is even better nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Also, that's another thing. Gavin is now with us, so very different. Dustfall's very different from the EP in that way. Gavin, go ahead.
Yeah, Gavin, what was that studio time like? Because I wasn't there.
It was fun. I got to be honest. I was feeling a lot of pressure, for having to get the entire album done in just 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, okay, lock in and let's get this done. But it was really fun. It was just so nice to have Sammy and Ephraim there supporting me and, laughing at my mess ups and, all my mistakes that I would make. And every time I'd have to go re-record something. But it was really lighthearted. And, I felt supported, and it was awesome to finally get that part of the recording process done and, be proud of the work that I put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. I think recording is one of the funnest parts of this, in my opinion.
Yep.
I really like recording. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Until I'm just resetting the DAW like 1,000 times trying to get the guitar solo right or something.
Yeah.
Everything sounded great, but we all found takes that we liked and went with it. So, is there any other thoughts on the album that you want to share before, about what you think?
Can we talk about the ballad?
Sure, we can talk about the title track.
Yeah, I feel like we should, because that.
Do you want to talk history on it? Because if Ephraim were here, we could really talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
he has been pushing for a ballad since before you joined the band.
Wonderful.
And I was the Grinch on the ballad because I just didn't think it was very metal. Granted, it ended up working really well, and I think a big part of that is your collaboration with Ephraim to take the song into kind of a more personal, emotional space, which I think people connect to, which is just from very early on. It seems like people are enjoying the ballad.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to me that people are really liking it. But yeah, that was one that I pushed Ephraim. I was like, hey, I think you should let's flesh this out, because it keeps getting stuck in my head. Like, just that little guitar part that he wrote. So that was a couple years ago.
He had it on riff tapes from a long time ago.
Yeah. And it kept getting stuck in my head. And melody, when he showed it to me, that showed up in my brain maybe a week after. And that was a couple years ago. And so when we, at the end of the day, it was I want to say, what, year ago? When did we complete it? I don't know.
It was about a year. It was about a year ago. Your final vocals came in a little after that, but you actually, I think it was a little bit more than that, because I had the full demo of it when I was doing the guitar solo. So that was over a year ago.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that was something it just kind of, not all of our songs, not all of the vocals came to me that easily, but that one, it just kind of clicked, and so at the end of the day, when we were trying to figure out how many songs do we want on it, I was pushing hey, let's put this one on there. And the working title was still Duskfall. We kept it. And so I was saying, hey, I kind of want Duskfall on there. So Ephraim, get your shit together. Let's write it. But yeah, I love that people like it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting for me.
I was really happy once I knew I could do a Pink Floyd hair metal solo.
Yep.
Which I'm really happy. That's actually the solo I've worked on the most out of all of the stuff that I did.
Nice.
So I'm really happy how it turned out.
Yeah, me too. Gavin, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Dustfall is easily my favorite song on the album.
Really?
Yeah, I kid you not. I love it so much. It just...
Is that just you? Are all those listeners just Gavin on loop?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's haunting, but it's so beautiful. And that's what makes it so unique from the rest of our sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I really personally, I have my own reasons for loving it, but it's a very personal topic, the lyrics, but also I got to really fuck around with harmonies, and I have so many layers in that one. I think I have more layers in that one than any other song on the album, and that was just really fun.
It gives the effect of like what synthesizers would do usually in a song like that, especially when you think of like ballads and like metal ballads. Like a lot of the time, but we don't use any synthesizers. It's just your voice that's layered underneath, which isn't good because Gavin's sitting there waiting for the last minute to. It's like the More Than Words music video. I don't know if you ever saw that where the drummer and the bass player just like leave.
Oh my God. Yeah, basically, yeah.
I think it works though. I was skeptical on like the drums coming in later, but I think it creates a really good crescendo moment with the full mix and everything when it comes in. It's good release in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I know this is like turning into like a podcast, but one of the things that we've gotten some feedback on for that song in particular was the buildup was not earned. Like the climax of the song was not earned, and that's something I've actually been thinking about quite a bit. I think I am learning that maybe I could pull my punches a little bit actually with some of the layering. We don't need to get too much into that, but that was something like we've been getting a lot of feedback and we've gotten some mixed reviews, which is really fun, but it's really a good learning experience for me.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's been fun. Where can people find our music? I mean, on all the things, really.
Bandcamp is probably the best for the highest quality for streaming and download. So if you buy it, you can get the high quality audio files. All streaming, right? You know, Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music, I think are the big ones. I don't know if Tidal is still. I guess Tidal is still a thing.
Yeah, we're on all the things.
And then CD pre-orders are coming in. Well, we got the final jewel case CD package. That's going to be very nice. There's going to be lots of good pictures, good lyrics. Sammy, thank you. And that should be coming out soon.
Yep. All right, what's next for 2026?
Well, we have a big one. Do you want to talk about it, Sammy?
Well, I assume you mean Soldiers of Steel Festival, and that is in Seattle, and that's in August. So we're pretty stoked about that.
There's a lot of cool bands on that bill for the weekend, and we get to open for some pretty awesome bands. So it's going to be a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah, highly recommend if you're in the Pacific Northwest or not. It's going to be a really fun time. So that one we're really excited about. And then I guess we have a show in like a couple weeks, in a month. But that's
at Bubba's Roadhouse. It'll be a good time in Sultan, Washington.
Yep. So yeah, that'll be fun. What would you like the audience to take most about your music?
I think just enjoy it. Just, take it all in, and I don't know, either you like it or you don't, I guess.
It's for fat riffs, uncompromising energy, thunderous rhythm section. I mean, if you have a bass EQ, I'd say turn that up and get the bass drums rolling in your car or anything that you're at. And it's just meant to be enjoyed loud, and it's in your face, and it's representative of what we're trying to do right now. So that's what I would say is a good takeaway, is just enjoy it. Metal, just the way that we're doing it.
Yeah. I'll add catharsis. Allow it to be cathartic. Allow it to get some rage out. A lot of the lyrics I wrote in there are very meaningful. and they are I've got a lot of political shit in there. I've got a lot of social commentary in there. So let a little bit of your anger out with that.
Yeah, let's just say that some of these, I mean, the lyrics have been coming for a long time, but like they're pretty good right now. And I think it would capture a good moment of how we feel, but also that it's, there's a way out. And that's what's, I think towards the end of the album, you have that with the last three kind of tracks as like a journey, if you will. If like the end of Harbinger is like the bottom, then you can climb your way out of it a little bit right after that, towards the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that is something that, yes, rage, and there is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, but we have to get through the tunnel. So, yeah. All right. Thank you so much, King of the Pit, and everyone listening. Appreciate it so much. We are Telomyras, and we look forward to hearing what you think.